Hello friends, I am Prashanth. I'm a qualified food engineer and a nutritionist. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the reduction of nutrients in our food right now compared to 50 years ago. So what our grandparents ate had significantly more nutrients than what we are eating right now. So with the availability of modern farming methods and technology, so we assume that we are getting better food, more healthy food, right, compared to what our grandparents got 50 years ago. But research says otherwise. So in this video, let's see what are all the reasons why the quality, especially the nutritional quality of food is going down and what we can do about it, right? So let's start the presentation. Modern farming has improved the yield but reduced nutrient quality. So what I mean by that is, yield is basically how much you're producing per acre or per hectare, depending on the place where you are. So basically, we are right now producing much more food. The quantity is much higher, basically the yield, but the thing is the quality is going down, right? So if you look at the modern farming techniques and also the methodologies that are followed, so they mostly concentrate on producing more per acre, right? In that way, even the farmers who are producing can have more profits, right? And at the same time, the overall world population is growing, right? So the population needs to be fed. So there is profit for farmers and whoever are involved in the system, agricultural system. There are profits for them when they produce more, right? But at the same time, high production doesn't mean that the quality of crops are better, right? The declining nutrient levels. So if you see, crops are having lesser nutrients, especially of vitamin C, iron, calcium, and also some other minerals, which I'm going to talk about, are basically reducing in the crops, right? So there was a study published in the Journal of American College of Nutrition in 2004. This was a landmark research study. So in that, what they have done is from 1950 to 1999, so around 49-50 years. So they have done the study of all the crops and basically the nutrient levels in the crops, right? So they have done it for 43 different crops. So what they found was there was a significant decline in nutrients. For example, the protein was lesser, calcium, phosphorus, riboflavin, which is vitamin B2, iron and vitamin C. So all these nutrients were found to be lesser in the let's say 1999 crops. The latest crops had lesser amount of these nutrients. So what are the effects for that? I mean, what are the reasons for that? Let's find out, and also we'll find out what are the effects of that. So the first is the dilution effect, growing bigger, not better. So basically what is happening is, I already spoke about this. So the modern farming technology, methods and everything, the profitability of agriculture is more dependent on how much you produce, what is the yield basically per acre or per hectare, how much higher you're producing, and also how bigger you are growing those crops, right? So that is what is concentrated more compared to nutrition. So the dilution effect is basically crops grow bigger, right? When you're feeding, when you're providing certain fertilizers, right? So crops are growing bigger, but bigger from outside basically. But when you look at inside, the nutritional quality, it's not growing as much, right? So bigger crops are like diluted juice. Yeah, this is a very good example. So if you take 1 glass of orange juice and add that to a gallon of water, right? Basically the overall juice looks like more in quantity, but the taste is not same, right? The taste is not same, and even nutrition is also not same, right? It's very diluted. You don't get that flavor, you don't get that nutrition. That is what is happening basically, because we are producing more and more, right, in the same space. But that is not having inside. If you look at inside of those crops, it's not up to the mark. So yes, bigger apples today, like for example, if you see, I mean, if you ask your grandparents, I think you can just ask them this question, like what was the size of any fruits or vegetables, when they were younger, right? So the size is growing, right? For example, you can get apples that are bigger in size and also crunchier or different kinds of texture, flavor, different color. You can get so many options, but yeah, the quality is not there. Especially the nutritional quality is not there. Even if you see some of the products don't have the same flavor. I mean, don't feel that flavor many times, right? So it's just bigger. And one of the reasons for that is soil depletion. Basically, if you want to grow healthy plants, you need healthy soil because plants grow in the soil, right? So what is happening is in last many decades, the soil quality is going down, right? If you see, what are the reasons for that? So modern farming methods using of heavy tillage basically, and also using monocropping. So monocropping is using the same crop years and years and years. So what happens is many times farmers or whoever are involved in the production process, they put the same seed, right? They keep growing rice or wheat or any that kind of crop years and years and years, right, together. So what happens is because of that, the soil loses the most important nutrients that are necessary, right? So, and also excessive use of chemicals, pesticides and things like that, because newer and newer pests are coming up, right? So because of that also the quality of soil is going down. And if Food and Agriculture Organization reports 33% of global soil is degraded in moderate level or higher than moderate level, much more serious level due to erosion and nutrient loss. So this is a serious concern. So definitely farmers are adding fertilizers, but mostly if you see those fertilizers, they provide nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, as you can see on the screen. So what happens is these nutrients are necessary for growth of the crops, because if the crops don't grow, the farmers don't get the required yield, right? They don't get enough profits, or they won't be able to make money out of it. So they're definitely concentrating on fertilizers, but the problem is they're not concentrating much on these nutrients like magnesium, zinc and selenium. These are very, very important nutrients for us. All these are required nutrients for us. That means we need to consume these nutrients so that we get them, otherwise our body cannot make those nutrients, right? So these nutrients are seriously lacking in our crops. Looking at the next possible reason, selective breeding, right? Prioritizing looks over nutrition. Yes, this is also an important factor. So basically what is happening is, so people are concentrating more on the outer look of crops, right? For example, even we are also doing that. For example, if you go to a retail store, so which fruit will you buy? The fruit that is looking very beautiful from outside, or a fruit that is not looking that great, right? Maybe the fruit that is not looking that great might have better nutrients, right? But we are mostly concentrating on the looks, right? I'm not saying everybody is doing that, but overall trend is like that. So what is happening, since people are concentrating on the outer looks, even the people who are producing them are also concentrating on outer looks. So that's what is happening. So as I have been speaking, people are concentrating on size, appearance, shelf life and pest resistance. Even pest resistance is also important, because newer and newer pests are coming up and it's getting more and more difficult to control those pests, right? And even shelf life is a important part, because what happens is, for example, if you are producing fruits, let's say fruits or vegetables, but if the shelf life is not really high, right, if they are getting spoiled very fast, so what happens is you won't be able to earn income out of them. For example, if you see in many countries, for example in India and in many developing countries, so what happens is close to 50% of fruits and vegetables are just wasted. They are just destroyed because of lack of chilled facilities, or transportation gets very late, or because those crops are not made to have higher shelf life. So what is happening is so much amount of food is just getting wasted, like nobody is able to consume them, they are just getting wasted, and even the people who are growing them is also they are also not getting the money out of that. So obviously they are concentrating more on these factors like shelf life, pest resistance, size and appearance, but nutrition is often overlooked. Why that happens? Like for example, if we look at two apples, which are, let's say, same types of apples, most of the cases we try to buy apple that looks very good, right, from outside, and we think that is healthier also, right? But we don't know what is inside. Like when you go to a retail store, you see apples, you see oranges, you see mangoes, you see bananas, but there is nutrition not written anywhere, right? Especially those specific varieties of bananas, right? So what happens is we look at the maybe variety of the fruits or vegetables or whatever, like depending on our past experience, whatever looks or tastes better, we buy them. But basically we are not looking at the nutrition, and there is no nutrition table available also for specific variety. So obviously they are also not concentrating, whoever are producing them, they are also not concentrating on the nutrition. They are concentrating on things that are important from the market perspective, right? That's what is happening. So if you see, modern wheat has less protein or minerals compared to ancient grains like corn, right? So yes, the significant number of people in the world consume rice, wheat, corn, right? And just imagine what happens if the nutrition levels of those crops go down, right? Because what happens is, if you, for example, if you take southern India, right? Most of the people in southern India, they consume rice, right? In northern India, they consume wheat as staples, right? If you take African countries, people consume cassava, plantains, various, even wheat, right? Things like that. So what happens is, if the nutritional quality of these crops is going down, that means the overall nutritional profile, people's nutrition is also going down, right? Because we are actually very much dependent on most of these major crops. So I think you might have had this experience. Tomatoes bred for looks but lost flavor and vitamins, right? Many times when I go to retail stores, I see a regular tomato and also hybrid tomato. So when I tried both of them, so the hybrid tomato definitely was not as good as, sometimes it looks or tastes better, but it's artificial. It doesn't look like a natural tomato. Same thing with many other crops also, many other fruits and vegetables. I think you might have observed this already. So it might be having lesser nutrition also. Climate change, in the world, some people accept that climate change is real and some people say it's not real. But the thing is, climate change is affecting our nutrition also. In what way? Let's see that. So what happens is, see, we all know, right? Plants take carbon dioxide and they release oxygen. So technically, climate change, when the carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere is going up, technically we should feel that it's a good thing, right? Because plants need carbon dioxide. They take carbon dioxide and release oxygen, but it's not. Because what is happening is, when there are studies done on this, so I'm going to put those studies in the YouTube description. You can just read about them if you want to learn more. So what is happening is, so the plants are growing faster when there is higher, so these lab tests were done by providing more carbon dioxide, right, in the environment. So they're growing faster, but the nutritional density is going down, because it doesn't work that simply. Like, if you provide more carbon dioxide, doesn't mean that plants grow bigger, better, faster, and also healthier. So it's not happening. So this is also a serious problem, because whether you accept it or not, climate change is real and it's happening right now in front of us. The temperatures are soaring up, the carbon dioxide percentage in the atmosphere is going up. So this is a problem that we are facing and we are also going to face in the future. So there was a study done in 2014 about what were the effects of elevated carbon dioxide on fruits and vegetables. So what were the effects and what were the nutrients that got affected? So it was found that zinc, iron and protein were lower in those crops. So what is the effect of that? So if you see, for example, in India, right, there are some numbers that I would like to say. So women of reproductive age, and especially if you take even adolescent girls, right, more than 50% of adolescent girls and women are deficient in iron, right? More than 50%. And in fact, some studies even say up to 66%, right? And if you see in the world also, right, 15 to 49 year aged girls and women, close to 50% of them already are deficient in iron. And add to that, so the climate change is having the effect of reducing iron in the foods. Just imagine what will happen because of that. So the amount of nutritional deficiency seriously increase, because what happens is, whether we accept it or not, majority of the people in the world, they are mostly dependent on vegetarian foods. There are many vegans also in the world. So even people who consume animal-based foods, so the majority of the time they consume vegetarian foods. Like most of the staple foods are vegetarian crops. And people are basically dependent to get all these nutrients like protein. Already there are so many people suffering from protein deficiency, especially in developing countries. So, and if the percentage of protein, zinc, iron, these kind of essential nutrients if they're going down, just imagine the effect that it will have on the world. So that's a serious problem. And so reduced nutrients in crops threaten global plant-based diets. Yes. So whenever people are depending on these plant-based diets, definitely it will have an effect, because even if you're consuming the same amount of that specific food, you're getting lesser of these nutrients. So definitely it is causing hidden hunger. So let me just explain what is hidden hunger. So basically, so we need close to 40 nutrients every day. So what happens is people are getting calories. Of course, there are many people in the world, especially in developing countries, poorer countries, or who are not getting even calories, right? But if you talk about people who are getting calories, right, they're getting calories, the energy that is necessary for them to survive, right? But they're not getting micronutrients, zinc, iron, magnesium, calcium, phosphorus. There are so many, manganese, selenium. There are so many minerals and vitamins that are very much essential for us humans, right? So what is happening is people are getting calories, but they are not getting the micronutrients like vitamins and minerals. So this is what is called as hidden hunger, right? So definitely when people are not getting these nutrients, for example, if children don't get these nutrients, so what happens is their growth is stunted. They don't put on the weight also. They have serious malnutrition, and the effects are also visible. For example, if there is serious iron deficiency, it can lead to anemia. If there is serious vitamin D deficiency or calcium deficiency, it can lead to osteoporosis, right? The bones can break very easily. So already the present world itself is suffering from majority of these nutritional deficiencies, and this climate change and all these things, they're affecting it more, right? They're causing the problem to be bigger. Now let's look at what are the simple solutions that are available. So try, as I have been saying already, try to consume diverse foods. Don't depend on a few set of foods. If you see, what is happening is the variation in diet is going down, especially for young people. If you observe, for example, our grandparents or earlier generations than that, they used to consume many different kinds of foods, right? Even different kinds of cereals, many of them used to consume a lot of millets also. They used to consume very varied nuts, fruits, vegetables and things like that. So what is happening is right now the variation is seriously going down, especially in young people. The diet variation is very little. So we are just eating the same things again and again. So what happens because of that is, so if you are consuming same foods most of the times, you are getting same or similar type of nutrients, and you are definitely going to be deficient in certain nutrients that are not there in those foods. For example, in the world, like majority of the population consumes rice as a staple. But if you see, rice is a very poor food, right? It just has mostly carbohydrate, very little protein. It has very few vitamins and minerals, basically. It doesn't have dietary fiber almost, very little, less than 1%. So what is happening, if you are consuming rice as a staple maybe 2 times or 3 times a day, basically you are getting those same nutrients, same carbohydrate again and again, and you are going to lose majority of the nutrients, right? Because that is what is your major portion, right? Whatever you are eating. So what you have to do is try to choose different kinds of fruits, different kinds of vegetables, different nuts and seeds, legumes, pulses, even animal-based foods, even fish. Fish is also having a lot of very important nutrients that we need. Even chicken, right? There's you should try to consume multiple types of foods in a single day so that you get those nutrients. Because as I said, we need more than 40 nutrients every day, and if you want to get those nutrients, you need to have a varied diet. Without that, it's almost impossible to get it. And one more thing, you can also choose organic varieties or heirloom varieties. Heirloom varieties are like heritage varieties of seeds. So these some of the varieties, the old varieties, ancient varieties, they are stored by some people and they produce those crops little bit in the market, but you can consume those, and you can also choose organic varieties. This is also one of the solutions. And definitely try to support regenerative farming. Like people whoever are trying to take care of the soil, and people who claim and also do that, right? So try to go to their website and study about what are their farming practices, and are they really doing that regenerative farming. And if you find any company or anybody is doing that kind of thing, support them. Even if the prices are slightly higher, try to support them so that they keep doing that, right? So that you are getting better nutrition and better quality products. And if possible, grow your own food. I'm not saying that you should grow rice, wheat, and all these crops. Whatever, for example, if you consume more tomatoes, try to just grow them in your nearby place, in your home or anywhere, wherever is possible. So whatever are the types of foods that you mostly eat, like maybe fruits or vegetables, whatever is possible, try to grow them in your home so that you can consume them, and definitely you can take better care of the nutrition part. So finally, think about the real nutrient content. Don't just eat food as just food. So it has to have the nutrients, otherwise it's of no use. If you're simply getting calories or maybe some other few nutrients, that is not enough, and that is not the purpose of eating food also, right? Basically, you should try to get as many nutrients as possible through your food, right? Because that is what you're consuming the most. So definitely we can't undo the past. Whatever has happened in the past, in the last 50 years, definitely we cannot undo. But by knowing what is happening and what are the problems that we may get, we can do something about it, right? So if, for example, I have said that the crops are having lesser zinc, lesser iron, vitamin C, riboflavin, protein, things like that. So try to consume those foods which have these nutrients more, right? So that you will compensate that, and also make sure that you consume different kinds of foods and beverages so that you don't miss the necessary nutrients. So don't look at food as just a source of calories. Food needs to have protein, antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, and many other nutrients. So try your level best to consume varied diet, and also understand what is happening in the present world. Yes, we are producing more and more food, but the nutrient density is going down. So make sure that you consume better quality foods and try to compensate the nutrients that are lacking in the present day food. Thanks a lot for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also please share this information with all your friends and family members. We hope to see you in our next video.